G'day guys, Simon here, Profitable Fencer, Fencer's Life, Lessons from the Trenches. And I've got something designed for you this year. I know this is a late start, but I've got a lot happening for you guys and a lot coming your way. If you don't know me, I'm Simon. I run a couple of businesses, been in the business, fencing business for 30 odd years, run my own fencing company up here on the north coast of New South Wales, and also run the Profitable Fencer, and which is a coaching and mentoring platform for fencers and like-minded people who want to grow their business and miss out or fast track their business to a higher level, which is something we're after. What I've got coming up for you guys is a series. It's series 1. 12 episodes in series 1. It is based around growing your business and fast tracking your business in what I have based in the master program that we run on the Profitable Fencer. So buckle up, boys and girls. I hope you get something out of this, and I'll dive straight in. So this is episode 1, and this is the wake-up call for most of us that we all need at times. So want to get a little bit personal at the moment, and I want to ask you something. What did you turn over last year? Write that down on a piece of paper. Now, what did you actually take home? Write that down on a piece of paper. Not your revenue, not your turnover. What ended up in your pocket after the crew, the materials, the fuel, the tools, the truck repayments, the plant equipment you've got, the insurance, the tax. What was actually left for you? If there's a big gap between those two numbers, and I reckon for most of you that are listening, there is, this episode is your wake-up call. As I said, my name is Simon. I've been in the fencing industry for 30 odd years. I've built businesses, I've coached operators, and I've sat across the table from fencers who are turning anywhere from $100,000 a year to a couple of million to $5 million a year and struggling to pay themselves properly. Today we talk about why, and more importantly, what to do about it. So the big lie we tell ourselves in the trades is that we've been conditioned to chase turnover, more jobs, bigger numbers. We did 800 grand last year, and everyone nods like that means something really cool. But here's the truth that nobody talks about. Turnover is vanity, profit is sanity. I've seen it 100 times. A fencing operator who looks busy, flat out, phone going all day, crews on multiple sites, and yet at the end of the financial year, they've got nothing to show for it. The bills are barely paid, super's behind, can't pay their tax bill, and there's no savings and there's no buffer, and they can't figure it out why. So I want you to just picture this quickly for me is, the numbers don't lie, but here's a scenario I want you to sit with. There's 2 fencing operators, both turning over moderate business, 600 grand a year. Operator A runs a lean operation, quotes correctly, filters his clients, knows his numbers, and he takes home about 180 grand. Operator B is busy every day, he's always chasing the next job, discounts to win work, doesn't track his costs, and he takes home about 60 grand a year. Same revenue for both fencers, A and B, completely different life. The difference isn't how hard they work, it's how hard they think about their business. So I want to name things that I know you're feeling because I've been there. I can tell you I've been there myself. I've worked with hundreds of operators who've been there too. But you're working 60 to 70 hours a week and wondering where the money goes. You quote a job, you win it, you do the work, and by the end, you've barely broken even. You've dropped your price to beat a competitor, and now you resent the job the whole way through, paying your employees, and they seem to take home more than what you do, and you've got the headache. You've got cash coming in, but you're always chasing it. Invoices outstanding, cash flow's tight. You're the business. If you stop, it stops, and that terrifies you. That sound familiar? Good, because naming the problem is the first step to thinking it. Here's what I've come to understand after 3 decades in this industry. Most fencers don't have a work problem, okay? They have a decision problem. You're not short on effort, you're not short on skill, you're incredible at what you do with your hands, but nobody has taught you how to run a business. You've got good at fencing, and then one day you were in a business, and those two completely different things. Being great on the tools does not automatically make you great at running an operation, and the dangerous part, the better you are at the work, the easier it is to stay busy, and busy feels like progress, but busy is not the same as profitable. I have a saying, we have busyness and then we have business. They're completely two separate bookends. Again, in my experience working with the fencing businesses, most operators are sitting in one of three stages. Stage one is a startup. You're scrapping for every job. You'll take anything when the phone rings. You're underpriced because you don't know your costs and you're scared of losing work, and your cash flow is terrifying. Stage two is you're grinding. You've got work, you're busy, but you're on the tools every day. You're doing your quotes at night and after hours, and you're managing people and problems and suppliers all at once. You're making money, but you're running on empty, and this is where I see most operators get stuck. Stage three is you're established. You've built the systems, you know your numbers, you've got the right crew, you've got the right clients, and your business runs without you having to be on every single job. You're profitable and you've got time. So for most of you listening, I would say for the best part of the people I talk to are in stage two. I was in stage two for nearly 25 years, I could imagine, probably longer. It's only been the last 5 years that I've really kicked things into gear, and that has been because of knowledge, not because of skill level on the ground. But you've done the hard work getting past the startup, but you haven't made the shift from operator to business owner. And that shift doesn't happen by accident. It happens by decision. I want to really focus on that. It happens by decision, not by accident. You just don't fall into it. You have to make a solid choice to go that way. So I want to be real with you for a second. Every operator that I've worked with at some point has what I call the dark swamp. The point where you question everything, the abyss. Why did I start this? Is it worth it? Am I actually any good at this? Why am I doing this to myself? You started with absolute fire. This is going to be amazing. Freedom, money, building something on my own, nobody to answer to. And then, unfortunately, reality hit. And somewhere between that excitement and where you are now, the doubt has crept in. And I want you to know that's normal. Every single operator who's ever built something worthwhile has been through that valley, that swamp. The ones who come out the other side had one thing in common. They stopped reacting, and they started planning. So here's a truth that will either probably sting a little to some of you or land like a thunderclap, depending on where you're at. But most fencing operators don't have a business. They simply have a job that they own. Think about it. If you stop working tomorrow, not a holiday, you actually properly stop, what happens to your income? It stops. What happens to your clients? They panic. They go elsewhere. What happens to your crew? They fall apart without you. They leave. A business is something that generates value independently of the owner. A job is something that only works when you show up. And if all you build is a job, even a well-paying one, you are trapped. So what's missing? The operators who break through have one thing the stuck operators don't, and that's a deliberate business model. Now, not just a way of doing fencing, but a way to run a fencing business. That means knowing exactly what you're selling and who you're selling it to. It means knowing your numbers, not just your turnover, but your gross margin, your net profit, your break-even point, your average dollar sale, and others. It means having a system for quoting, for winning the work, for doing the work, for invoicing the work, for reviewing every single job, for getting the leads in. It means attracting the right clients and filtering out the ones who will waste your time and eat your margin. And it means building a plan, not just reacting to whatever job comes in or the phone each time the phone rings. This is where module 1 of the Profitable Fencer Master Craftsman program starts. It's not with the tools, not with the quoting software, but with you. Where are you now? What did you start this for? What do you actually want in 12 months, in 5 years? Because if you don't know where you're going, every road looks the same. You'll keep taking whatever comes in, you'll keep pricing to win instead of pricing to profit, and you'll keep grinding instead of building. The question isn't how hard you're working. The question is, are you working on the right things? That's the wake-up call, and that's what this podcast is about. So let me leave you with this. You got in this industry because you're good with your hands and you wanted something of your own. That drive, that's the foundation of everything. That doesn't need fixing. What needs fixing is a system around your craft, the way you price, the way you plan, the way you choose your clients, the way you review your jobs, and the way you think about your business. That's what I've spent 30 years trying to figure out. And that's what this podcast is going to give you, one episode at a time in this series. You don't have a work problem, you have a decision problem. And the good news is decisions can change. So here's your first decision. Find out where your money is actually going, okay? Your action this week, head to theprofitablefencer.com.au and download the free Profit Leak Audit. It takes 10 minutes. It will show you exactly where the gaps are in your business. No fluff, no pitch, just a tool that gives you clarity. If this episode hit home, share it with another fencing operator who needs to hear it. And please hit the bell, subscribe, because next episode we're getting into the numbers that actually run your business. Hope this has been a crack and you've learned something from it. Talk to you soon. See you in the next episode.
Thanks again for listening to the Fencer's Life Podcast. Be sure to follow on Twitter, Instagram, or the free Facebook group, The Fence Posts. And of course, Simon's personal Facebook, facebook.com/Simon M. Davis 1. And also check out Spotify to get weekly episodes. If you believe Simon can help you make a difference in your fencing business, please reach out to him on Messenger or visit his coaching mentoring site at theprofitablefencer.com. Until then, stay safe and happy fencing.